Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about chapters, 31 to 38 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5, Vento Aureo, titled Narancia's Aerosmith. It's Narancia's Aerosmith arc where he shows off his stand and everything like that. I've actually already talked about the first two chapters, but I kind of wanted to go ahead and talk about the arc, or the mini arc as a whole, that whole section of the manga, because I feel like it's easier to do that than to just only cover a handful of chapters and say, I don't know what's gonna happen, or something crazy like that. So for now, I'll just do it this way to make it easier on myself, especially since I've been busy lately. And so the first chapter is just Narancia being stupid. Like, he's clearly, at least to me, the dumbest one of Bucciolati's group. And he's finishing up, packing everything up, getting the stuff Trish and everybody wanted, and he's attacked by a guy who I don't remember, Formaggio, I think his name's Formaggio, and his stand, Little Feet. And let me tell you, I really didn't know how this fight was gonna go, right? You can say that for all JoJo fights, but I didn't know because Narancia's Aerosmith is like, as far as I knew, it was just like a plane, kind of, and Little Feet had this very strange power in that it can shrink the other person down, but I think he might have to, I don't remember if he has to hit it or not, but he can shrink the other person down, but it takes a while to do that. I think he can immediately grow, like he can shrink himself down. I think you can immediately grow back up, but to shrink down, it takes a little while. So Narancia the entire time is trying to find the guy. Where is he? I can't see him. Where is he? And that's because he's tiny and in his pocket, apparently. And, you know, he's shrinking, but he's so dumb that he doesn't realize he's shrinking. He's like, why is everything getting bigger? And he just cannot figure it out. Well, the interesting thing is that Narancia's Aerosmith keeps finding Formaggio, and I had no idea why. Because Narancia's Aerosmith to me was just a plane. That's all I expected from it, was just to be a shooty McShooty face plane thing. But the interesting about Narancia's Aerosmith is actually that it can detect carbon dioxide, it can detect the breathing of life forms, or just, I mean, carbon dioxide in general, and can find things based off that. And even Narancia has like this secondary thing that is like a little screen that shows him all the big carbon dioxide signatures around him. So the reason he keeps finding Formaggio, even once he gets in the sewer, is because Aerosmith can detect carbon dioxide. And I thought that was honestly like really interesting. So I wasn't expecting that from his stand. And then, you know, but when Formaggio goes to the rats and then makes them scatter out, that of course throws a wrench in plans. But apparently the larger the amount of carbon dioxide that's getting released, the larger the little circle thing on his monitor will be, which actually is very helpful in certain situations. Although if he was in like a crowded area, this would probably be much more difficult. But anyway, so, you know, I thought, you know, based off that, we would be fine. Aerosmith only gonna have like 4 chapters or 5 chapters or whatever. But apparently what I didn't realize was Narancia's Aerosmith was also shrinking with Narancia. So even when he did find him and shoot him, Aerosmith was too small, so it had no effect. And then, you know, getting put into that wine glass or whatever it was with a spider, that scared the shit out of me. I wouldn't have been able to function. I'm not good with any sort of bugs or spiders or anything like that. They gross me out, and I probably would have freaked the fuck out. I don't know what I would have done. I wouldn't have been able to handle that. But Narancia held up pretty well. And I wouldn't have thought, you know, I understand carbon dioxide, you know, I would not have thought to shoot like a gas tank to make it explode to fuck up Formaggio. I would have never thought of that. So I was like, oh shit! And then when Formaggio starts to, because he has like a map that has where Trish is, because he's so stupid, it has the location circled. When Formaggio starts to run away and he just is like, oh, I just should make more fire. I was like, well, how will that help? But I suppose his reasoning is if he just shoots everything and makes everything go up in flames, it's bound to burn the other guy, right? And he's right, it did. And I gotta say though, I felt so bad for his team. I can't remember the one guy's name, but I think it was Sorbet. I think it's like Sorbet and Gelato are the names of the 2 guys in his flashback. And it's really fucked up to think that they tried to find out the boss's identity, and then one guy gets gagged and tied up and thrown to the side while the other guy is cut into sections alive, in which case the friend or possible lover, because they weren't sure if they were a couple or not, kind of suffocates on the gag put in his mouth, and then they take those sections of meat that they've cut this body that they've cut up, they clean it up, and then they frame it, and then they send all those sections of meat to their gang. That's pretty fucked up. That was way more fucked up than I was expecting. Just the thought of it is like, whoa, okay, that's a bit fucking much. Oh, I guess that's what happens to, like, and nobody find out the boss's identity, because it's just gonna fuck everything up. Whoa. And I mean, it's just, I don't know. Narancia's Aerosmith just destroyed that guy at the very end. But it was kind of like it was bound to happen. You know, the guy's on fire. He's already pretty fucked up. He was shot before. He's been burning for a while. He got to Narancia, and Narancia, like, punched him in the face and shot him. So what else was gonna happen? I mean, now all of the groceries burned up and all the money's burned up and all that's kind of shitty, but Narancia came out of it alive. That's the big thing. I wasn't sure how he was gonna, at first I thought Little Feet was just gonna be like, oh, it's stupid, whatever. By the way, Little Feet kind of looks like a baseball player to me. I don't know why. Like, it looks like he's kind of wearing like a helmet or something like that, and then he's got that mouth that just looks like a weird, like a robot mouth, like a, you know, from like cartoons and stuff. I don't know. It was like Bender's mouth or something. But Little Feet, I didn't care for the design so much, but his stand power was actually pretty interesting. And when you mix it with Aerosmith's in a match, I really didn't think it was going to be that great of a matchup, but I honestly think it was probably one of the better ways to showcase what a stand can do, at least in regards to Aerosmith. When I compare this to Mista's fight versus Kraftwerk, his Sex Pistols versus Kraftwerk, I really didn't think that fight was the best fight, you know. And I also didn't really think it was the best way to showcase Mista's Sex Pistols. I think there might have been a better way to do that. Don't ask me how, and don't even ask me what kind of stand, because I don't know all the stands in part 5 to make that judgment. But Aerosmith versus Little Feet, I actually think that was a much better matchup for showing like what Aerosmith can do and how that particular stand in this particular situation is actually pretty good. Like, here are the cons with having a stand like that. You know, you can't see anything. I mean, he can see the signatures on that little map thing, but he can't see people. Like, if there's all those rats, he can't tell which one is necessarily going to be a person or a rat when he's chasing Formaggio, you know. And there's only so much it can do, but the pros are that, you know, it can sense carbon dioxide, it is pretty mobile, you know, it's got that little not tracker, but like that map thing. There's pros and cons to having a stand, there always is. I mean, we've seen Jojo get fucked up by Rat too, which like melts people into meat jelly or whatever it is. But Jojo arguably had like the most OP stand in part 3 in a way, because of spoilers, time stop, and just being generally a powerful stand. So, you know, it doesn't matter how experienced you are, how good your stand is, it'll always have something else that can overpower you, or maybe it's just a better matchup, like it's a better stand in that situation. So Aerosmith actually versus Little Feet was actually a very surprising matchup, and I really enjoyed it a lot more than I enjoyed Mista's whole thing just before. And it's funny because I like Mista more as a character, but I just didn't enjoy that particular fight he was in. But I thought this one was much, much better. And I was actually on the, like, ooh, what's gonna happen next? But for Mista's, it was just kind of like, whatever, Kraftwerk. So yeah, I really enjoyed this particular set of chapters, the Narancia's Aerosmith set of chapters. Thought it was really good, and I can't wait to see the other stands come up. I know we've seen kind of Abagio with his, oh my god, I can't think of it off the top of my head. I don't know why. It's just not coming to me. But we saw his stand in the fight against, what's his name on the boat? Can't think of it off the top of my head again. But what's his name on the boat? I know we saw that, but I don't think that was, it's not Diver Down, that's a different stand. But you know what I mean? It's just, I don't really think that was a good example of his stand. I'm kind of hoping we get another match for him fairly soon. I would love to see that. Or maybe Fugo, I would like to see, you know, his stand, Purple Haze, I think it's called. like I said, I know stuff about part 5 even without reading all of it because I've been in the JoJo community for a while. It's really hard to just not hear things, but I really want to see what's going on with all that. So kind of excited, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. So let me know what you thought of these 7 chapters in the comments below, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!